Dominic. From here, we're gonna go into the Q&A portion. Because we only have one candidate, it'll be just 10 minutes long. But please scan this QR code and input questions for the interview. Thank you. We'll give it a few seconds to go over questions. I will ask your first question. First and foremost, how do you plan on using Fusion funds to uplift all the pillars equally within Fusion?
I think that in order to uplift all the pillars equally, it's not a problem or not an issue of like the amount that we allocate to each position and pillar. I think it's more of a how much we're able, like each pillar is able to be upheld with the amount of like a certain amount of money. For example, on projects, this is something that like it needs a lot of money to run. If engineering project or that or bid, they don't have necessary funding to buy materials or like be able to host their servers, like call APIs. It's really difficult for those members to get the experience that they wanted out of it. So I feel like it'll be on a as need basis on each position. Like it'll be X amount of money split equally between all 5 pillars. It'll just be ensure each one's able to be upheld equally.
For your next question, as an executive board member, you will be the first person people turn towards when conflict arises. How will you ensure that you can handle these conflicts professionally and truly?
I think for conflicts, it's very important to not like jump to conclusions. I'd say is in the event of like something happens, and as an executive board member, I'm the first one to know. I think it's important to get the full story from both sides, assuming like it's that kind of thing. Because honestly, I do feel like a lot of conflicts are just kind of stem from misunderstanding. So it's very easy to see if it's like that. You get a story from both sides, you can see what's wrong, and then you can fix it by just communication.
As treasurer, you are the sole decider of Fusion's financial stability and funds. What are your intentions of where you want these funds to go into the future, whether it's projects, socials, or etc.?
So could you repeat
Oh,
that?
sorry. As treasurer, you are the sole decider of Fusion's financial stability and funds. What are your intentions of where you want these funds to go in the future? This could include projects, socials, or etc.
I think at the point that Fusion is right now, you can sort of get everything. Like right now, we have socials, we have projects, we have big events like Lunar Retreat, FusionCon. I don't think it's a problem with like choosing which ones that we are getting, but I do think some of them will require a lot more funding than others. One thing is projects. Projects like I believe are probably one of the strongest parts about Fusion and what makes it really unique compared to any other organization. So I do want to make sure that Fusion is able to offer these projects to its members, and I think that providing funding or like making sure that everything's able to be run no matter what is something that is really important to me, and I would want to use or consider using funding for those things.
After a year on Fusion board, how will you ensure that you're able to maintain that passion for Fusion throughout the next year and prevent burnout?
I think, honestly, I still feel that sort of hunger to give back to this org. So I do do know that coming next year, I will still feel passionate about working for Fusion. In the event that something happens in the middle of next year, I do know that I would be able to depend on my board to pick up slack when I need a break or like help me out because that's the kind of board that I wish to be a part of and that will help cultivate. I know that it's not only a problem, it wouldn't only be a problem for me on my exec board, it would be a problem for everyone. Everyone gets tired, so as long as the board is able to uplift each other, I don't think there will be any problems.
In your platform, you spoke about how initially you were only interested in project-related parts of Fusion, but have since then shifted that mindset. How do you plan to shift other general members' mindset that think similarly if appointed on exec?
I think it's really just the programs that we offer. Thinking about my first year experience, I was really like, I was really only interested in the project. That was like the main thing that pulled me in, but I kind of just stuck around in the space. I went to socials, I pulled up to like study hours. I went to fan events, like all of those different things sort of kept me more interested in the Fusion space and allowed me to see it as more than just a club that offers a professional opportunity. So I think just continue what we're doing right now, making sure our programs are great, and then just by doing that, we'll be able to sort of retain members that were only interested in the club for a certain aspect of it.
Thank you. To be treasurer, you have to have a good sense for money, budgeting, and accounting for insufficient funds. What financial skills do you have to offer for this position?
This is going back to what I was saying during my platform. As FEP director, it's something that like, I have experience with. Money is especially for engineering projects, it's a really, really important thing, just reiterating that. So one main thing that me and Luigi were doing over the summer was like sort of thinking about the possible, our possible income for the project, like funding that we get, and then sort of basing everything around it. We're making like bill materials for a sample trip just to make sure that if we do run the project as we want to, each team would theoretically be able to make their project within their own budgets. So I feel like this experience sort of makes me qualified for the treasurer position.
For your next question, are there any new programs you want to implement as treasurer? For example, it could be in collaboration with any of your board members.
Maybe I say it's a custom program. It's just like stepping back to what I was talking about before with collaborations with companies. I don't think that we should stop at just like sort of plastering their logos on our shirts or something and having that sort of money connection. I think that it's possible for us to get a much more deeper connection with those companies. So something that could be possible is like having mentors from those companies come to us and like be able to help our general members, or just like having that deeper connection so people are able to like more easily get into their careers once they graduate.
And for your next question, let's say Fusion gained a large sum of funding. Would you try to keep the funds and create generational wealth, or would you immediately invest into our new programs and opportunities?
I'd say that in the case of like large influx of people that does come, and we see a big influx of like money in our accounts, I do think maybe not the binary thing of like invest it all, like keep it all for the future, or like spend it all. I think that we would probably increase in spending, because the way I see it, with that increased amount of members, it's necessary to spend more money in sort of facilitate bigger events being held for the sake of allowing more people to enjoy the same kind of environment.
Thank you. For your next question, can you critique the current position holder?
So this isn't knocking on Marvin too much. He's been a wonderful treasurer, but one thing that I was thinking about while I was considering the treasurer role was during, like, as a appointed board member, the amount of money that Fusion has is sort of like not visible for us. Like we know how much money we have, but we don't understand the upcoming expenses, how much money we need to like keep in the account. So it's like, sure we do know how much money is in there, but we don't know like how much of it would be accessible for us as like board members for our own program.
Thank you. Okay, and this will be your last question, so feel free to think about it. So for your last question, if you could choose between Benson or Noah as your new mentor, who would you choose and why?
Oh, I'm picking Benson. Like, okay. Noah, I've known him way too long. I can't be my mentor. I'm technically like